All right, Green Thumb Gardening family. I'd like to unleash back at you from right here at the Green Thumb Gardening channel. In today's video, we bring you guys along with us as we pot some of our now sprouted and growing sago palm cycads. Now, if you guys been following this video series, you guys know that about 50 days ago, we begun this grow experiment on the inside of our high tunnel greenhouse. We planted about a dozen of these sago palm cycads of several sizes in different containers. And what you see before us here is the result at this point of the number of those sago palm cycads that we've been able to successfully sprout in our high tunnel greenhouse. And in this video, they're getting quite large and too large to be left in these containers. So we're going to separate these sago palm cycads into individual containers today. I'm going to bring you guys along with us to show you how we go about removing them from these containers. We won't bore you with the whole entire process, but we'll pot up one or two of these in the video and show you how we go about doing that. And then we'll bring you guys back at the end of this video and show you what our sago palm trees look like potted up in their new containers. Now, to remove our sago palm trees from our containers, what we're simply going to do is use our water hose here. We're going to flush our containers. It's going to be a little noisy. So we're doing this in order to disturb that soil enough to remove our sago palms without disturbing the roots too much. If you don't know, freshly sprouted sago palm tree roots are very, very brittle. They break off very, very easily. So what we're attempting to do here is flush a lot of the soil from these containers. We don't have those drain holes blocked in the bottom of our containers, so it should be a pretty easy process to flush the soil out. And in doing so, that should allow us to safely remove our sago palm cycads without damaging whatever roots have developed on them at this point. I'm going to simply reach out into this container while I have you guys on this video and pull these cycads out one by one. As you guys can see, although this one has sprouted foliage, it's just beginning to sprout roots right there on that corner. We'll go ahead and pot it up anyway. This next one, I'm going to be gentle removing it. It too has begun to sprout foliage. And take a look at those roots. Aren't they fantastic? Again, these roots are very, very brittle at this point, so we're going to be very careful with these roots. This tiny guy has not sprouted foliage, but it has indeed sprouted roots. See that? We're going to get all of these sago palm trees, cycads, potted up into their individual containers today. Now that we know they have successfully germinated for us and sprouted roots, it's safe to put them in their own containers. This one's actually sprouting foliage, as you can see, the little green thing there in the middle. That makes a total of 3 that has sprouted roots and also foliage so far. I'm going to remove this next one gently. It too is beginning to sprout foliage from the top, as you guys can see. 3 nice roots have developed on the bottom of this one. I'm going to pour this next one out. It too has sprouted roots for us. What we're using to germinate these sago palm tree cycads is, as you can see in this container, plain sand. All we're using is sand to germinate our sago palm tree cycads. And as you guys can see, using that plain sand works very, very, very well. I'm going to get you guys over here and show you this grow medium that we're going to be using to pot up our sago palm trees in. This is a mixture of about 25% sand, about 50% peat moss, and about 25% potting soil. So we use a little less sand in this particular grow mixture than we used when we germinate our sago palm tree cycads in our original containers. We only use sand. We have several different size containers over here that we're going to use to pot up these sago tree palm cycads in. We have several trees that are in different states of development. We even have some small containers for the smaller sago palm tree cycads. What we're going to do is start by adding enough soil to our container. And remember, this peat moss is very, very, very light. What we're doing right now is just adding enough soil to our container. I'm going to take one of our sago tree palm trees, cycads here. We'll use this little tiny guy here. Well, let's take a larger one since we have that 1 gallon container. We'll take this one that's already sprouted foliage and it's just beginning to sprout roots for us. We're going to take this cycad. As you can see, it's sitting kind of low in this container, so we need to add a bit more soil than what we already have. We want only the roots of our cycad to rest beneath the surface of the soil. We don't want to bury our cycad at all in this soil. We're going to make a small little pit there in the center. Place our cycad down in. We're going to set it right here. Nestle it right here in the center of this container. We'll press that somewhat down around it like that. You guys can see we're not burying our cycad at all. Just burying that bottom part where the roots are currently beginning to develop. We'll do the same thing with all of our sago palm tree cycads. And we'll bring you guys back at the end of this video and show you what all of our sago palm trees look like in their new containers. Now our soil is already a tiny bit moist, but we will slightly water our containers in once we have them all planted. And we'll set our containers back inside of our high tunnel greenhouse. And this is what that first sago palm tree looks like in this new container. You guys can see that cycad is not buried. We're going to leave all of that cycad, as much of that cycad as you possibly can, above the soil. You don't want to bury that at all. That's where your new growth comes from. And burying that entire thing will mean that you can possibly rot that new growth on the inside before it actually pierces the surface of the soil. So don't bury your sago palm tree cycads beneath the surface of the soil. You guys hang tight. We'll bring you guys back at the end of this video and show you what all of these sago palm tree cycads look like potted up in their new containers. Hang tight. All right, green thumb gardening family, we're back. As I take you guys in for a close-up, this is what our newly potted sago palm trees look like in their new containers. We had to put 2 in this large container. We didn't have 2 small containers, so we popped these 2 in this container. They're both fully rooted. We only have 1 sago palm in here, and it's this large one here that has a small, relatively small patch of developing roots on it. So at any rate, all of these sago palm trees have indeed germinated for us. These cycads, and they're well on their way to looking like this over the next week or so. As I told you guys in the previous video, these sago palm trees that's grown from cycads such as these grow at a tremendously advanced rate once they actually germinate. All of these again have germinated. They all have roots, well-developed root systems with the exception of this one right here. So we'll bring you guys back within the next 7 to 14 days with an update on what our sago palm trees look like at that point. Thanks for watching, and if indeed you do currently find yourself watching this video on growing sago palm trees from cycads and you're not already subscribed to the Green Thumb Gardening channel, please indeed take this moment to press that subscribe button beneath this video, that like button, that notification button, and be sure, Green Thumb Gardening family, be sure to share this video with your friends and family as well. Thanks for watching.